Welcome to Uncle fucking Mike's house. It ain't your daddy's podcast. It's your Uncle Mike. And right now, we got a legend in the making with us, people. We got Axis Mundi from Lyre. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. That was one hell of an introduction.
Bro, it's just going to get better and better every time.
I feel like it's way too much for me, but thank you.
Legend in the making, man. I totally believe it.
Right.
I'm having the people I believe in the most on first, so that's how you know.
Do what?
I said I'm having the people I believe in most on first, so you know.
Okay.
So you know it's real.
I appreciate that.
So you just recently had a show with Lyre. Before we dive into the in-depth of your career, how was that show?
It was a lot of fun. It was actually only our second performance.
I was gonna ask how many times have you guys performed before this?
But it was our first time with like the three of us. So before we had 4 members, but now we've got it locked down to a solid 3, and I really love the chemistry that we've got.
I was gonna say, was there an on-stage chemistry? Was there a groove you hit? For sure.
Definitely. But our show went really well. It was a battle of the bands at Bobby T's campus, which is the old 308 on State. They Robert recently took that over.
Hey, we got all the deets.
And I just sound like it. I really don't.
Me and Robert go back, dude.
No.
Think about going halfsies with him.
Next time. Next time they find a place. No. But they're just trying to get the music scene up and going over there on the west side on campus, because I don't know, live music has kind of taken a back seat a little bit.
Yeah,
in a
I've
way.
noticed. I mean, there's like the little spots with some rock bands here and there, but it's definitely dwindled down.
Yeah, and I think that with this event, this Battle of the Bands going on, and
when's the last time they've done a Battle of the Bands in Lafayette? It's been forever, right?
I don't know, man.
I thought when I heard you guys were doing it, I'm like, that's a fucking great thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I'm really pumped about it. The winner of the Battle of the Bands gets a paid gig. So.
Oh, word?
Yeah. So.
Damn.
That's right up our alley.
Did we mention that you made it through?
Well, I was going to. Spoiler alert.
Sorry, dude. I'm just excited for you.
Jesus. Yeah, we made it through to the next round. So everybody that performed that night that we played freaking killed it. So they're giving us all an opportunity to move on, and so that's the next round. We're duking it out, and
fucking beat the
I
shit
believe
out of
the winner of this one is the one that gets the paid gig. So.
Damn.
I'm pretty pumped about that. But I think that's a great idea, that what they're doing, because, like I said, that's right up our alley. It was something that we were looking for, is kind of something to set us at a higher standard, from moving on from here on out. So.
For sure. And it's kind of a contrast, just to do a little segue to the first time I seen you perform about, I don't know how many years ago now, 8, 9, opening up for, was that Huey?
Yeah.
So that was around the beginning of your music career, no?
Yeah, that was around the beginning of my music career, and it was a little embarrassing on my part. I was just very unprepared. My buddy Spencer Long, he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, they told me that I could get a slot for the show opening for Huey. It's tonight. I wanted to know if you wanted to." And
that was back when you were recording because he had the studio in his crib, right?
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah. And
Loki had a little chill pad spot.
Yeah,
I remember going over there a couple times. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it really did start at his dad's house, but then he ended up getting that apartment or whatever I think it was his mom's or maybe, but it was in Ashley Oaks, and
he doesn't live there anymore, so we can totally name drop
places.
That's
where yeah, right.
His address, go hit him up.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about exposing anything.
Yeah.
But no, that was where we really put a lot of work in, making that first project that he dropped under the name Zoots. It was My Roots. It was like 21 tracks.
Damn.
Super
just
full
pumping
length.
them out.
Yeah.
It's something I talked about with Third. It's just like in the beginning, you just whatever. Just to get out product. You love it so much, you're new to it. You just do whatever and get a bunch out.
Yeah.
Just fucking popping them out. It's kind of like when you first start fucking in a way. I always want to fucking knock them out now that I'm doing it.
Right. I gotta get my practice in. I gotta make sure I'm good at this.
Am I doing it right?
It feels right. I don't know.
Me and my mirror.
How does it feel for you?
Talking to my hand. So, how was that the beginning, or was there more before that?
There was a little bit more before that. So, okay. So back to the show. The first thing that was like the first time we performed. We hadn't rehearsed anything really, just the stuff that we had recorded at that point that we memorized and he had the beats for and whatnot. So, rewind. Okay. So, the very beginning, it all started actually with like a dare type bet thing. Yeah. Where there was somebody that was in one of my classes, and I was just kind of joking around, and was like, hey, if I get 1,000 views on this video that I'm gonna make,
God,
you gotta make out with me. And that was like this like deal bet thing that we had going. So I made
What grade was this?
I think it was this was sophomore year. So this or it was either freshman or sophomore year. So it was this is the first time I actually recorded a song. But I had written stuff when I was probably 11, 12. Songs that were just had no structure at all. It was more of just
the things in your head, getting them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Situation, yeah.
Yep, getting the things out in my head in rhyme. But
yeah.
So it started with a bet, and I went to my buddy Dylan Gerstone. Went to his house, and he just had Audacity on his laptop.
Shout out to Audacity.
Right.
For not sponsoring the podcast.
Right. we couldn't work up a deal quite in time, but
being only the first time I've used it, but
that was not a product placement, I promise.
Not at all.
But yeah, and we were using this little Rock Band mic. So one of the mics that actually went to the Rock Band video game.
I remember those.
Yes. And a makeshift pop filter that we had. He formed out of
wire hanger.
And
swear that was my first pop filter.
Yep. Everybody started out.
And it's weird because there's no handbook on it. You're just like, dude, give me a fucking pantyhose and a hanger, and I know how to make this.
We're gonna make this happen.
There's no handbook for it. You just fucking know. That's where to go. That's so crazy.
It's weird. But no, yeah, that's how it started, and I wrote this song about how this girl should leave her boyfriend to get with me, and
damn, dude. Did she?
No, I ended up. That was the thing. I ended up never actually putting it up on YouTube or anything. Word. I just I kept it for my own personal enjoyment, and me and my friends would listen to it and stuff. But that just kind of it kickstarted. That
sparked it all.
Yeah, exactly. It sparked it all about. Started writing songs to beats that were popular at the time, and then linked up with Spencer through a mutual friend that we had, Nicole Greenup. She lived right down the block from him, and was like, hey, he raps and he's pretty good. I know you rap and you're pretty good. You guys should do something.
Were you guys friends before that, or was?
Yeah, we were kind of friends. We'd played baseball together, been on the same team a couple times or whatever, but we hadn't really hung out,
kicked it
that
to the
much.
fullest
Yeah,
yet.
Exactly. But that was kind of what really brought us closer together,
right.
And so we linked up and we went to record a remix to Forever.
Damn.
With M and
sure everyone's dropped a remix to that. Yeah. I think me and Caesar. I think me and Caesar had one.
That's what's
pretty
up.
Sure.
That's what's up.
But yeah, everyone, because it was a banger.
Yeah, we were trying to get something together there. My buddy Roger Benson, he was supposed to be on that track too, and so we all like were writing to it or whatever, and I don't even think we ended up finishing that song collectively, all of us, but from that night, like Spencer had gotten a hold of some other guys that were like on the baseball team that were into rapping, and he was kind of like forming this group called Zoo Crew.
I remember the name. Yeah, I remember the name fondly.
Yeah, and so we all like picked animal type names or whatever.
You didn't stick with the name.
I didn't. No, and mine was because when I first recorded those first songs, I was going by this alias Big Easy.
I get it.
Yeah,
Easy going, dude. Big dude. Yeah. Not like junk wise. I mean, it could
Eli's
be.
My first name. It was easy. Big Easy.
Damn, dude. Still dropping bars. Yeah.
No,
Sorry. Just trying to hype you up, bro. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You're killing the podcast, dude. Keep going.
It's lit.
That's pretty good, Travis. I've never even tried it because I'm so scared I'm going to mess up that impression. Yeah. It's lit! No, see, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I didn't think it was that great. But,
dude, killed it.
Thanks. But, so joining, like, Zoo Crew, that thing that he had going on, I started going by the alias Two-Face because...
I remember hearing that name and thinking it was a dope name then.
Oh, so... Thanks. I didn't think it was dope. It ended up being, looking back on it now.
How long did it even last, that name?
Just however long we were recording together, and then so it lasted through the release of his project. So we released this this project with Zoo Crew.
Right.
This little
kind of like a little compilation type deal.
Yeah, exactly, and it was. Caesar was on a couple of those too.
Yeah, I think because he was the one that told me about the studio, and I think I had went there with like intention of recording, and then side activities happened, and that just never came about. So
yeah. But then from Zoo Crew, then other guys just kind of weren't as into it, and so him and I kept recording, and. He was going by Zoots at this point. At first, he went by Silverback.
I remember.
But but now, then he switched up to Zoots, and I really like.
I was gonna say, which name did you prefer for him?
I like the Zoots.
The Zoots.
Yeah, definitely. That's still always been my favorite. But he put together My Roots, which was, like I said before, it was like 21 tracks, and I was on 7 of those tracks. Mm-hmm. So, that was a really cool opportunity and a really cool time to build at that point early on, and
So this is around the time where you're thinking this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not just a hobby anymore. Like this is something I'm going after.
Totally. And absolutely. Like recording with him, because I guess we recorded all of Zoo Crew at his dad's house, and then when he got that spot at his mom's over in Ashley Oaks, that was like where we did a lot of recording, because that project that he had was just so long, so many tracks, but we did a lot of building there, and there wasn't really much supervision, so it was like, we kind of dabbled in some things here and there, and had some people partying a little bit, but it never got like too out of control.
It's like, we need to shut this down.
Yeah, Spencer definitely want to shut it down at that point. But, yeah.
So how did you guys end up separating, and where did you go after?
Oh, well, before we finished that project, he was living up in the Chicago area, going to school up there, and playing baseball up there. So we actually finished that project up in Chicago.
You were going up there?
Yeah.
Damn.
I went up there a weekend and knocked out the rest of my parts, and we had like this this party there, the baseball team.
You had to.
Yeah, and we spent like the whole weekend just busting out tracks and staying up crazy hours of the day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that was also a really cool experience because, it was almost like him opening my eyes to the world a little bit, like the world outside of like local Lafayette music.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
Because it was like, here this dude was taking his own grind and his passion with him while he's pursuing his other grind and passion. And it's like, I don't know, it just
spoke to you on some level.
Yeah, definitely. And so we wrapped that project up, and I think from there, he was wanting to take a hiatus and, sit on that project for a while.
Right.
And I was wanting to do my own project. So like,
you had the taste, and now you're like, I want more.
Right.
I can't just sit
right,
back.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been writing my own stuff at the same time. As we were recording all of that stuff
you weren't
stuff
recording.
for his project, yeah, and I was still recording when I had the chance too, because Caden Bennett has been recording music for a while on his own too, like at his place, and he would have me come over there, and I met Caden through Dylan and Jacob Corns, which is Dylan's stepbrother. So like, I met him through them. So there was always, if there was a way to get my music out, I was trying to record. You know what I'm saying?
Any way you could, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you had the outlet, so why not use it?
Right. Exactly. There were a couple times I recorded with Kevin too. So like, when I was hanging out with, I think Gabe was there. Matt Fig might have been there. I don't remember. I think so. But like, there, you know what I'm saying? There were times when,
right,
if I was able to make some music, I was down to make some fucking
yeah.
music. So I was writing and trying to record my own stuff on the side, trying to get equipment together to get my own thing going, and that was when after he finished his project, he was ready to take a little break for a while or whatever. So he ended up selling his recording equipment to Zane.
I think I remember this slightly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Zane had the equipment for a little while, and we recorded over at Zane's before. A couple like freestyles and other stuff like that, but. Zane was writing too, and so he wanted me to get on some things with him, and but I think I didn't really start releasing my own stuff again until I started recording with you and Alex.
So how did that connection happen with you and Alex? Because I'm very foggy around this time. I just remember Alex having your music, playing it, and being like, I need a track with him. He's like one of the dopest things that's came through here. And I don't remember, so how did that connection happen?
I'm pretty sure I met Alex through Zane.
Because Zane was, he was hanging around with a lot of the people just Troy.
Troy, yeah.
And then, he was coming through and hanging out with all of us during recording sessions, so he was around it for sure. I didn't even know he rapped until, he was even doing things, like he said he had his own studio until later.
Yeah.
After he had basically stopped already, that's when I found out.
Right. He was staying pretty low-key about it, though. I mean, and we were still in high school at the time, I'm pretty sure, and so, like, you never know who you can trust. You gotta stay low-key about things like that, because, like I was saying to you before we started this, like, there was a point in time where I was ready to move out on my own, and I had my own place, and then, boom, all my equipment got stolen from me right when I was about to move out. So it's like, that shit happens.
Yeah,
like,
some people hear that, oh, he has a studio.
Yeah.
It could be my studio. Yeah, people are shady.
People just see dollar signs, people go and pawn shit. It's like, I would much rather somebody be getting some use out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Than seeing it at a pawn shop a month later, like, son of a bitch.
Right. Like, I'm not paying to get my own shit back. But yeah, so I think we linked up through Zane somehow. Zane and Troy. And, so I came through to record some of my stuff that I had been writing for my solo project for Blue Dreams, Dealing with Death. So I started writing some of that, and then...
Dope. You're conceptually, you've always had, like, dope-ass visions. Like, does it just come to you? You're just like, fuck, I'm gonna do some dope shit right now.
Well, for that mixtape, that one came about because of an actual, like, experience that I had that changed my life, where I had, like, an out-of-body experience, and it felt like I actually
I think we had talked about it around that time when we were recording it.
Yeah. So...
And where did the name Axis Mundi come from?
That came from...
You're just like, I'm not Two-Face anymore, it's time to come up.
Well, yeah, I felt like Two-Face definitely didn't fit.
Sound like some high schooler who's rapping type name, kind of. I get it.
That, I didn't feel like that was who I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You couldn't attach yourself to it.
Right. And not only that, but who knows, down the line, copyright issues. Or,
yeah, for sure.
Could have been a thing. So, at the time, I was just like, that's not who I am. So, and I didn't really have much content out anyway, so I figured if I were to go by a new alias, a different identity, I would still be able to... People would still be able to know who I was pretty easily and not get any of that confused, because a lot of people honestly didn't hear the Two-Face stuff. Right. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise in a way. So I was able to market myself a little bit differently. But the actual name came from, I was watching TV one day and I heard them say Axis Mundi, or Where the Heavens Meet the Earth. And so I was like, what?
Oh,
and so, so I typed it in and it said, spiritual compass, or Where the Heavens Meet the Earth. And I was like, that's it. That's what this music that I've been writing kind of embodies, is someone to be a spiritual compass, someone to kind of connect the unseen, or the celestial in a way to the human experience, and finding that balance. Sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And projecting that out for people to...
That's something I think, so, like, it's that I like about you so much, like, especially at that point in your career, you would say it's relatively young and you're, like, actual, like, rapping, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because me at that point, I wouldn't say I was fake, but I was trying to be a lot of things I wasn't. And with you were very much connected to yourself, and you had these grandiose ideas, but you were still, it still felt like you. It didn't feel like you were bullshitting anyone.
Yeah. I think that profound experience that I had...
Psychedelics will do that.
They'll
wake that ass up real quick.
Right. I think that definitely helped, though, because before, when I was rapping under, Big Easy or Two-Face, I don't even like to mention those songs or that time in my life, because a lot of it was just like, okay, I'm going to make some dope shit, or, I'm going to rhyme in a way that, people are going to like this, or, I'm going to be able to, at best, it was, I'm going to be able to tell a story, and so it kind of shifted to where it became more genuine to, I think, the roots of hip-hop, and not only telling a story, but speaking your truth, and kicking a little knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, bending words and lines and phrases to your favor, and to incorporate multiple meanings at the same time. I think that aspect of the art form, it
gets
really
lost.
Yeah, exactly. It gets lost in the modern sound today, but I think it's still there because that's what it was built on.
For sure.
And I think that's what drew me to hip hop. I could feel hip hop in my soul because they were speaking things that were raw emotion and kind of from a different perspective that I've experienced, but things that I could also relate to on an emotional level because I've been through different experiences that gave me those same emotions.
Because then it's not just background music, it's music you're really connecting to.
Absolutely.
And I think I met you at a very critical point in my career because, like, up until that point, like you kind of said, it's kind of all about dropping dope shit necessarily.
Right.
I just want to have bars. And, like, I had, you know, emotional tracks or tracks touching on certain things, but I was like, no one's going to want to hear that. And then I heard your music, and I'm like, this shit's so dope. And you were talking about things I had thought about on my own or researched on my own. I'm like, what, you know, what's stopping me from taking those steps? And I really kind of, you know, thank you for opening up my eyes to that type of thing because I don't think who I am now, it would have sounded the same as I was when I was 18 if I hadn't met you.
Well, I appreciate, dude. Like, I appreciate that
for sure, man.
For real.
Yeah, I you know, I see authenticity in someone. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and you have it in abundance, sir. So, congrats, the
Thank
Uncle
you.
Mike's Clap Fest. That sounds different.
That's one hell of a fucking compliment, man. I appreciate that.
So you're at what would you say the difference in your music was from Zoo Crew to Blue Dreams content wise? Like what your influences and what's actually coming out of you? What are you channeling, sir?
Well, like I said, that profound experience that I had kind of,
For sure.
I think, was the catalyst to me writing things that meant more. Things that were true and personal to me, but at the same time, because they're true and personal to me, they're able to connect on the macro scale because, like you said, you know, you wanted to spit that stuff that was realer to you, right? I think every human longs for that connection of something real and something that makes them move, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Inside. And so when people see that, they feel it, they recognize it, and it's really weird how energy works like that because, you know, you are giving your energy out and putting yourself at a vulnerable and exposed place.
Right.
And people are able to recognize that and also be exposed and vulnerable by proxy.
Yeah.
Right. So they give you the energy back, and then when you see that someone else is receiving that, and then giving it back,
it's a great feeling.
Then it gives you more energy, and you're able to give that back.
Yes.
So it's like this constant, you know, like a feedback loop that just keeps going. So I think that what I saw was that, you know, all of the music, that's the mission for music the whole time, is to get that emotional response.
Well, should be.
Right.
We know there's other...
Right. But regardless, it's going to give you an emotional response just because of biologically how we're wired.
You just hear a dope beat, you automatically get a little, okay, this is dope, yeah.
Exactly. And so at that point, it was like, okay, well then now it's my mission to be the narrator here and to guide these people along this journey that they're supposed to be experiencing.
And then at that point,
and that's life.
I think to me it becomes a little bit deeper than rap because now you're becoming this. You want to spread this. And a lot of people go into music selfish, and not that they shouldn't. I dig all that music just as much, but to go into the booth and go, I'm going to try to change the way people think is
right.
I want
people to exit this current moment that we're in right now and experience the infinite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that track on Blue Dreams, Led Zephyr. Okay. A lot of people were telling me that was like one of their favorite songs on that project, right? it was personally one of my favorite things that I had written at that point in time, because I was giving you I was giving people the layout of what I was doing, and I was just, as I was doing it, you know, it was like, it was really meta, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm me doing me things, telling you about it.
You gotta see yourself, seeing yourself, seeing yourself. So like, it was kind of like, absolutely, it was kind of like that. It was like, you know, I say, I'm sensing something in the breeze. I think it's me. Every time I start to think, it's like I'm brewing up the seas. I muster up a thought, they think I'm brewing a disease. So when a gust of wind is brought to me, you ought to leave. Because honestly, it's dangerous. Behavior is the concept that I'm modeling.
They can't see it, but I'm bobbing my head. Because I remember when I first heard that, so I was like I just said, it was just so, it just kind of gave me this mind shift of like, whoa. There's other options to be had.
Right, and that's what I was saying. Yeah. Like, all I'm doing is I'm manipulating the time space that your attention is directed toward, right? Mm-hmm. So while I'm doing that, this is where I'm taking you. Oh, sure. As I'm taking you. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, if you realize it in the moment, it could be overwhelming, and all you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you would just giggle. Like, if you were you know, tripping on something or whatever, you hear that and you come to that realization, you're like, okay, all of it, I am music, I am sound, I am light. Yes. Like, that's what everything in this universe is light and sound, and how it's woven together. Mm-hmm. So, like, because literally, you know, we're talking about solid matter. Why is it solid? Because the vibrations are so tight that it's holding that matter together tightly. Mm-hmm. So we know that sound manipulates matter with a phonoscope. You know, with the, you know, what they do with the sand, and you know, you put a tonal vibration into it, and it creates geometric patterns. Mm-hmm. That to me is just evidence that, okay, you can manipulate matter in your physical existence just from the energy that you're putting into it. So that's kind of like the whole concept of what I was trying to get there.
You had this awakening, you're like, people need to know about this.
Right, I was waking up, basically, and that's what that project is. Blue Dreams, dealing with death. I'm dying to myself and to my ego, and I'm waking up to this other world that before, you know, was completely, it wasn't completely invisible, you know.
But at the time it seemed like it.
Absolutely.
Might as well have
been. The veil.
Until you got to that moment.
It's the lifting of the veil.
And it's another thing from media today, a lot of forms, whether it's a show on Netflix or it's music, you when the song's over, the show's over, you end up in the same place you started at with a lot of it. Like, it's a fun roller coaster, but nothing's changed. You didn't really get to take away anything, and that's why music like yours is so important. Now with Lyre and before with By Yourself, is to take away something after you have just spent, you know, these moments at a time not only enjoying the music, but you also get to take away this little grain of something,
right,
and take it with you, and it affects your life.
Right. Nothing's changed, but at the same time, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. So I like the way you put that, because
you can watch a fucking great Netflix thriller, who's the killer, who did it, you know, but then at the end, you know, you're gonna find out who it is, and you're gonna go on in your life, and you didn't really learn anything. Right. It's probably who you thought it was. It was fucking Dave in the gray hoodie, dude. He looks fucking shaky.
I knew it was him, man. Did you see the way he was looking when they were asking him all those questions? He's so nervous. You know, if people can take something away from it, that's the goal. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it worth it.
And that's content I can get behind, brother.
Absolutely.
Figure guns. They can't see him, so let's bridge the gap. Okay. From Blue Dreams to the new band.
That's right.
The dopeness that is Lyre.
I appreciate that. Well, it's okay. So after releasing Blue Dreams, dealing with death, I just I was actually So I wrote another project that I was looking to release. I was thinking about titling it The Book of Eli. Yeah. And so which I still have this project basically done. I mean, I could re-record it or whatever, but I have it. It's just, I don't know if right now is the time to release it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel done yet. And I think, you know, there are plenty of reasons not to do it just as well as to do it. So, like, I put so much into this project that I wanted to make it worth it, so when it does come out.
Right.
So, you know, I kind of approached that project as really diving into what ego is, how it helps you, at the same time how it is a detriment, and kind of figuring out your own identity by being partners with your ego in a sense. You know what I mean?
Working with it.
Right.
Not letting it work against you.
Right. And that was kind of like the intention behind the Book of Eli. It never came out. I've written it. I'm still writing, you know what I mean? Still writing things that I think could be used for it. I've even taken a few things from that project and incorporated it into what I'm doing with Lyre.
Yeah, because I think there was a track that came on and I'm spitting with it. I'm like, I've never heard this before. And I'm like, oh, wait, I think I know where I heard it.
Yeah, totally. And so, you know, for a while I felt like, I felt like I was ready to do this and push the Book of Eli, you know, get it finalized and get it out there and start making some videos for it and everything. I had met a dude who took me and a couple other artists to Atlanta, and that whole situation kind of ended up turning out kind of shady. And so from that point on, it was like, it kind of gave me a new perspective on things, and kind of made me a little more cautious with who I decide to work with or invest my energy into. And so it's like, from when that all happened, I had to take a step back and reassess what I was doing and charting my course. So, you know, on Blue Dreams, I had a sample on there that said, it was by Terrence McKenna. It was something he said. He said, if you do not have a plan, you will become part of somebody else's plan. And
dope.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It hit me differently, you know what I'm saying? And so now, from that experience, I've decided, okay, I'm going to map out how I'm going to do this. And so now with Lyre, it's just a completely different mindset. Not completely different, but it's a different mindset as far as
trajectory,
the delivery and the trajectory. Absolutely. So what I was doing was I was taking a hiatus for a little while.
Yeah, because we kind of thought you quit, and I legit got sad. I was like, no.
No, I wasn't.
Because I had hit you up and you're like, man, I've just been doing licks on the guitar. And I was like, maybe you can come through and drop something.
Yep, yeah. And that's what it was. I was at a point where I was feeling stuck creatively. Because here I had gotten this project finished that I thought was going to be like...
the move.
Right. You know, my next step in the process where people are going to hear this and people are going to share this because they're going to feel it. Because Blue Dreams, I feel like, might have been a little far out there for some people.
It was definitely a step into the deep end.
Right, and
if you don't know how to swim, your ass is getting drowned.
Yeah, and it was unapologetically different. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, if you're someone like me who had maybe prior knowledge of certain subjects, you could take it in. If someone has no clue of these things,
they might not understand.
It's just
what's
as
being
invisible
said.
to them as it was before you had the experience. So they're just like, what
Right.
is he saying?
Right, and I think that's where I might have dropped the ball a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
But to me, I still love the project.
Right. I also didn't promote it very hard. I didn't have any knowledge of how to do the social media game and you know, doing a digital release, and so that I didn't want to make that mistake again. Right. But I had created this hip hop project.
Do you think that's why Book of Eli you were like, man, I don't want to make that same mistake, and that's kind of why you hesitated to release it?
Yes. Yeah. In that sense, yes. Mm-hmm. Creatively, though, why I kind of took a break for a while was because I was getting bored with hip hop. Not only like bored with the music that's being released now in the mainstream, but also bored with like my own music. Not bored with my music, but bored with the way that, you know, I wanted more creative control. Mm-hmm. So like I was getting tired of buying beats or leasing them or whatever. Tired of having to funnel through whether I could use a beat or not, you know?
Because it's one thing to create a song from the standpoint of you create it from the beginning, beat and everything.
Right.
You really get the full idea. But when you go into and you just get the beat and you're like, what can I create to this?
With this, yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily going to turn out bad, but it's not going to turn out as good as it could if you had control over the whole thing, like you said.
Absolutely. And that's where I was coming from, because I was like, okay, if we're manipulating matter here and we're moving people, I want to know that I'm moving them in the right direction, in the intended direction. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, I was like, okay, I want to learn how to play guitar. I want to be able to put, you know, my own stuff down. So, I had been working with this dude, Brad Richardson. He goes by Duke. And this kid is freaking phenomenal on the guitar.
Dude,
he is
laces it every time.
Yeah, he's got like a Jimmy Page meets Jimi Hendrix type style, and like his bends are freaking ridiculous. He just knows how to play, and so we started hanging out and playing together a little bit. When I had gotten a guitar, and I had actually, from one of my friends, Wes Riblito, he had a roommate that like gave him a guitar, and he was like, "Well, I'm not going to use it, you know. You want to buy it?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally."
Opportunity,
yeah. And so bought the guitar off of him. I downloaded the Musician app, which like teaches you how to play instruments on your own or whatever through lessons. Mm-hmm. And so I started out there, hanging out with Duke and jamming a little bit with him, and like he would show me some tricks. I was learning at that point. Mm-hmm. I had still been writing hip hop, you know what I mean? And we kind of wrote a song together where I had written a hip hop verse and a chorus, and I showed him these chords that I liked. He had a solo for it, and like we, you know what I'm saying, we got down.
It just came together.
Yeah, and it was a song that we titled "Everyone Is Crazy," mm-hmm. and it's still one of my favorites as far as like verse and the whole shebang. We're still figuring out how we're gonna incorporate it with the music that we've got going now, because like I said, it just started out as the two of us, and then we were like, all right, let's get a drummer in here and let's get this thing going. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine, her name's Skylar Craig, she had tagged Zach Austin on this Facebook status that I put out. It was like, hey, I'm looking for a drummer and looking to start a band. You know, message me for details or whatever. And she tagged him, and he messaged me, and he come over and jammed with us, and we really liked the vibe that he was bringing, so we were like, this is it, you know, let's do this. Mm-hmm. He had a buddy named Cody who plays guitar and drums and a little bit of bass, and he also does some rap too, but I don't know how much he's released, but yeah, and he came over and he was part of it too. So that was the original 4. And then, you know, some things happened and he decided he didn't want to play with us anymore, and so it went back to the original 3. So, and like I said, that's really where our foundation is. I feel like we really are in our element when it's the 3 of us, because on top of Zach, let me back that up for a sec. So it kind of, our sound started a lot more on the rock alternative side with the 4 of us, and once we lost our bassist, that's when our current sound that we have now is kind of really locked into place. It pushed me, because like I said, I was trying to push myself creatively and get outside the box a little bit, and what I was intending to do was I wanted to blur the lines between hip-hop music and every other type of music, basically. Rock, alternative, grunge. And so, pop even. I wanted to meld that all into one sound. So, it kind of, like I said, I was out of my element in a way. Right. I was using a lot more of my singing vocals than I've ever had before on any of my music. And when it came back to just being the 3 of us, that kind of forced me to go back to the hip hop a little bit. And I think that was a great decision because, I wouldn't say forced me, but it kind of nudged me in that direction, because I think it was that was my wheelhouse. That was my sweet spot. That's where I was comfortable. We had done one performance as the 4 of us, and I wasn't in my element, and you could tell.
Fell off.
Right. But that's why the performance that we just had, it's like, that's what it reminded me of the shows that we would put on. You know what I'm saying? Where like the energy was there, the execution was there, and the crowd was feeling it. You know, people would come up that I didn't know, say, "Hey, you did a freaking awesome job."
It's just a great.
That's an awesome.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
That is such
someone
an
you've
awesome
never
feeling.
met coming up to you like, "Dude, you kill it," and you didn't even notice them in the crowd. Like that's how new they are to you.
Right.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, dude. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So it was great. So like, Zach, not only does he play drums, he also produces beats,
which are nasty.
Yes, they are.
I had the opportunity to sit in the studio with them, and dudes, and it's kind of crazy. I was going to bring it up. Like you guys, so you didn't really know them prior to this that much, right?
Not that much, no.
Not like on the like homeboy level, like where you guys are chilling and stuff, right?
Right, not quite. I mean, me and Brad were hanging out and stuff, and then we decided, you know, let's get something going or whatever together. Because he had been saying, you know, we need to link up and do music and shit this whole time that we were working together. When he found out I did music and heard some of it and stuff, and so like, it was going to happen, and I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, and so. When it did, it was like, all right, cool. Because we had been hanging out a little bit before that. And then, you know, I was trying to learn guitar, and then it just happened.
It's all thought. And that's what I was trying to get. Like, you guys are all so like-minded. It's crazy how it just fell into place, like, perfectly. And it has to do with the energy you were, like, putting out. Like, I want to do this the right way and my way. And you got 3 guys who are basically the two other parts of your mind, almost.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like, too. Mm-hmm. So, like, I really do feel like they're my brothers. You know what I'm saying? If something's going on in their life, like, I want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, they're straight, they're taken care of, and that, you know, they don't have to worry about anything. So, like, and I think it goes the other way, too, you know what I'm saying? And that's almost, dude, that's just as important as the rest of it in making the music, because if you're not with like-minded people that have the same intentions as you and the same direction, it becomes drama. It becomes something that is not about the music anymore, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's you're not in harmony. You're at a dissonance. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think people realize how important it is
that flow
to have
and energy.
Yes, the people that you surround yourself with.
Yes, that's very true.
Because not only are you giving out your energy to these people, they're giving out energy back to you. And so if all of that is on the same wavelength, then you guys are going to be making waves. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's been one of the more challenging things to doing the band aspect, is having more people involved on the creative process and having more people that are accountable for the actions of the whole. You know what I'm saying? It makes it tough because, you know, we all have to be clicking all at the same time.
You guys are
always.
so similar, but yet you're still different, and people want different things out of it.
Exactly. We each have different jobs. We each have, you know what I'm saying? We all have our own personal lives, too, that we're balancing out with this.
Which in the beginning is very hard. It's not, you guys are, you know, not on the road yet, not signed by a label. It's very hard in the beginning.
Right. And that's another challenging thing because, you know, getting support from people when you're at this stage, you know, especially people that like care about you, and you know, that's why I'm very thankful of the people that I have around me, because, you know, Brittany, my girlfriend, she supports me the most out of pretty much anybody, and that's something that I'm not really like used to, you know, like having the person I'm with actively engaging in what I'm doing.
Makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Now that my parents have kind of come around and they've seen a little bit of what I'm doing, they're more on board. And like, I think that's a huge thing too for a lot of people when they're first starting out, is the people that they care about don't care as much about what they care about as they thought they did. And it's like, you know, how do I make somebody give a shit? Well, you don't have to. You have to give a shit.
Yeah.
And if it makes sense to you, then that's what matters, because you're the one that you have to live with at the end of the day. So, like, of course there have been plenty of times where I've thought about, you know, not doing this. But honestly, I legitimately cannot see myself not doing music and being happy. Like, it legitimately makes me depressed to think if I can't make music or share music with people. Like, that, I can't imagine an existence where that's possible.
I think that the multiple times I've also thought about quitting, that's something where I go, I don't see myself doing anything else. Like, there's other things I want to dabble in, like I would, like I want to do writing and comedy and stuff, but at the end of the day, the backbone I want is music.
Right.
Just because anytime I get sad or I get happy, I'm like, I want to do a song.
Right.
And you don't necessarily get that with anything else, and that's...
Yep, yeah, exactly. I don't get that with anything else. Like, everyone has their passion, and that's what it is.
Not to knock anything else, or kind of like, I just don't get super hyped and go, man, I really want to drop a comedy sketch right now. It's just not the same.
Right.
But I still have passion for it.
Right, and you still want to dabble in it.
Yeah.
In the future, when you have the ability to get something set up like that, absolutely.
Right.
When you get material put together, you know, and have content, absolutely. Like, I think that would be funny as shit, especially you and Dirt together.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was listening to that last episode, and I was like, there were a few things in there I was just like, this is legitimately sitting in the room with them having a conversation.
Yeah, that's what I want the podcast to feel like. I want it to feel like a conversation, not a forced interview.
Right.
Where did it all start?
Right. Well, back in 19...
We got 5 minutes, so you might want to speed it up, bud.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't feel like people get the long-form explanation out a lot, and that's what I want this to accomplish, is people to really get their side out. And even, because sometimes you could say something shortly, and then you'll go, man, I want to expand upon that. But in a short interview, they'd already be on to the next question.
Right, definitely.
And I want to give people that opportunity to really get their thoughts out and really be able to put out something speaking on themselves that they're fully behind.
Cool.
And not just the pressure of the moment.
Right.
Because I've had the short interviews, and it's so much pressure. Like, I want to say the right thing.
Right.
And it lasts like 5-10 minutes, and it's over.
Right. Yeah, I definitely like this layout. It's natural.
Just two dudes with nothing to lose.
True that.
So where did the name Lyre come from?
How
spell it real quick for the fuckers out there outside of Uncle Mike's house, peeking in the windows trying to figure it out.
What's going on here?
I want to know what Lyre is.
They are a little, drooping right there.
Like kitty cats, dude. They get to it.
Dude, serious. we legit keep our blinds up halfway, like, all the time, just so they don't mess with them.
And plus, they love laying in there anyways, getting their daily dose of Sunny D.
Yeah, what's going on in the universe. But, the name Lyre, Lyre.
Boom.
For yeah.
For yeah. For yeah. That's the new phrase for sure. For yeah.
For yeah.
For yeah.
That's funny. The name came from really the story of Orpheus, and
break it down for me because I'm stupid on that.
Well, he had to. There's only a little bit I know about it,
right?
But he had to go to the underworld, and he was given a lyre by one of the gods. He used it and made music from it. Obviously, his wife was in the underworld. To get her back, he had to go play music to lull, the
beast,
the darkness.
Yes,
and it kind of drew some correlations to the story of when they're leaving Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, and she looks back and turns into a pillar of salt. It was basically the same thing in Greek mythology, where they're on their way out of the underworld, and I believe it was I think he looks back. I'll have to brush up on that. But anyway, one of them looks back and she's gone again. So,
that's rough.
Right. But the instrument, the lyre, some people say lyre, it was a gift from the heavens to project these vibrations and, manipulate matter. So it was like,
so me, even with the name right now, you're learning some people out there, because I had no clue what that was before. Now I know about it.
Oh, yeah. It was,
just take a name.
The lyre or the lyre is like a small harp,
Goddamn.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool because it was almost like, a guitar is almost like your modern lyre or a lyre. Obviously it's a sitar, but it's like
a sitar.
But they drew kind of some comparisons in my mind, so I was like, oh, that's neat. And so it was like, it was 4 letters, it was simple, it was boom, lyre.
For sure. And
I think anytime you try to speak truth, you're still lying, because nobody can speak absolute truth, because the truth is subjective.
Yeah, too also.
The truth, one person's perspective of an event that happens, what I'm saying, can be different from the other person's perspective witnessing the same event.
For sure.
So, in a sense, we're all liars, and that's what our social media tag is. We're all liars. So it's play on words.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude.
Lyre.
So let's talk a little bit about the project. Well, how's it coming? Where's it going, and how can they get it when it does come?
I don't know exactly how much I can tell about the project.
How's it going?
But it's going really well, actually. We have a set of tracks that we've put together that we really think are going to be what the EP is, and right now we're in the process of recording a demo so that we have something put together for when we want to go record that in a studio professionally, because right now we're also working on our budget. So we had taken this past year to just practice our live performance, write music, and work on recording a demo. And so now that we're getting to the final stages of finishing this demo, we're starting to book shows. And so that's why we were doing this Battle of the Bands. Taylor Thompson is putting it together. She's been doing a great job. Like I said before, over at Bobby T's, they're trying to bring a lot more live music into the scene and revive the local game that we've got going on. And so the project itself is coming together pretty nicely. I think we have, we were looking to do maybe 7 tracks. We might extend that a little bit, but we definitely have a solid 7 that we're pretty sure on right now that we're gonna put down for that. We're just looking on getting our budget together and getting a place to record, and then we'll have more info about that. Once we get to that stage. Thought about doing a Kickstarter, but I don't know. With us booking these shows, we're probably going to be able to get some money together on a budget right there. So, and that, I think that'll come pretty quickly by doing that. But we're selling merch at the same time, so we're getting money coming in that way. And
yeah, the logo, the sticker you gave me when we first did that track, it's a dope logo.
Dude,
out there.
Caleb Madrano, he drew that.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Caleb Madrano. Check out all of his shit. Let me look up the Instagram tag again real quick, because he's a dope artist. He's from the area. I think he's living in Indy still right now, but he put this together for us and did it for the low, and was just Killer Caleb is his. Yep, Killer Caleb is his Instagram tag, and but yeah, that was really cool. He put it together for the low and gave him a few shirts, and so we've been pushing some of his stuff just as much as he's pushing us. Actually, Zach put together a playlist for him of instrumentals and shit for his show that he had in Indy, called Controlled Chaos. Ooh.
Yeah,
and from what I heard, that was a pretty good turnout. I've seen the pieces; they're fucking sick. The dude's got.
So get at the mans if you need some work.
That's right.
That's what we're saying.
Yes.
How can they connect if they want to connect with the band?
Oh,
where can they connect at?
We're all Lyres. Lyres.
Boom. I will tag it when I post it.
Yeah, that's across all platforms. So Facebook, social, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. We're all Lyres.
Together. So 2 more things before we get you out of here.
What's up?
So the first one, what would you go back and tell yourself in the beginning if you had to give yourself advice?
Ooh, shit. Ooh. Man.
It's you just got the information. You're like, man, they vetted me. I'm about to do it. I'm about to write this track. What are you gonna tell that guy? That young little Eli. You still have a beard then, right? You look probably exactly the same.
Pretty much. Yeah. I would say to that kid, don't write a check that your ass can't cash.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? Don't say anything that you're gonna regret later. Don't say anything that you can't back up. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important. I think don't say anything that's not true to you. So,
I mean, you eventually found that way. So,
yeah, but
the journey's a part of it.
Yeah, and it would have saved everyone a lot of embarrassment.
Yeah,
had I found that out earlier. So it's just like, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone does, things that they're not proud of. But.
So I'm gonna speedball 3 things at you. They're gimmicks, I would say, in the industry right now. And you can say that's whack, or you can defend it. Face tats.
Face tats. So, like, face tats can be dope. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, that looks cool or whatever.
Right.
But
I mean, if it's art, it's art.
You better, yeah. I was just about to say, you better be very set in what you're doing for a living to be
Do you think
that comfortable with getting a face tat.
I think there's also, like, that hive mindset, though, of, like, people who, follow the industry and go, he's getting a face tat. Now I have to get whatever the fucking face tat I can get.
Dude, there's always that.
Yeah.
There's always that.
It's always been that. But it's not been on the face before, which is the problem.
Right.
Now it's permanent and right fucking there on the eye.
Yeah, but I mean...
Have you seen the eye?
For entertainers to do that, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? They have a career set where, they're there to entertain. That's what, you know what I mean? People talk about their appearance. People talk about them as if they're not another human being. So they are objects for the public, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, someone out here who isn't an artist or doing anything like that.
Supervisor at a factory.
Right, wants a face tat. He has every right to have a face tat. But just what statement are you making with that? It's kind of like, if it's going to be out here for everyone to see and exposed like that, it better mean something to you. That's kind of how I see it.
Kind of like music.
Exactly.
Goddamn it all.
If you're going to put yourself out there, let it mean something.
That's it. And I think, where are we at? Hour 6. I think.
Dude, tell me, what are some other things out here that are gimmicks?
You want me to gimmick you a little more? Okay.
I like this.
We'll do 2 more. Mumble rap.
Oh, shit.
Defend or whack?
That's such a
Can you defend it at all?
So loaded.
I feel like you're going to be able to defend everything.
You can defend it, yeah, you can defend it. Do I personally agree with it is another question.
Does it belong? Does it have its place? Should it be erased?
It definitely has its place because it's already in place. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? It's here, but is it here to stay? We'll find out, and I don't know if it is. I think that I think it's just like maybe disco. Like disco
had its place
for that point in time and was only possible at that point in time. Mm-hmm. Nobody can really do disco now because, I mean, you can, but I don't know if people are going to feel it the way they felt it in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's the same with mumble rap. I think hip-hop in general is getting to a point right now, kind of where rock and roll was in the early 90s or late 80s, where people are actually catching on to it, and there are a lot more artists that are in the industry than there need to be. There are a lot of people out there getting attention that they don't necessarily
just because the genre is popular, not necessarily.
Right. Hip hop is pop culture now.
Yeah.
Like, you look at pop culture and it's directly influenced by hip hop.
Before, to be a popular rapper, you had to be talented. Now, just to be a rapper gets you a little bit.
You have to be popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Exactly. So, and I think that's another thing about this mumble rap that some people don't really understand is that people are getting plays because they're paying for promotion. Mm-hmm. They're paying for plays, basically. They're paying to get their shit in rotation. That's why you see and you hear more of them. Mm-hmm. That's why, a local guy isn't getting as much play in his local area as, Joe Schmo in the mainstream, is because he doesn't have the budget.
He's popular.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the budget. He doesn't have the marketing skills. And I think there's really nothing that separates the very talented individuals that we know.
Right.
And the talent from the people that are doing it right now in the mainstream. There's nothing separating them except for the resources and the budget.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're finding ourselves now with mumble rap. We have people that have a budget, and because they have a connection or a budget, they're able to plug themselves in, and
instantly,
and yeah,
cut people
instantly,
in line,
right?
kind of.
And people are becoming famous so much more easily just from the internet itself. You know, people are internet famous. You see them in real life, nobody knows who they are unless they're connected through social media. It's another thing. That's a whole nother conversation. But I think that's where we're at with mumble rap, is a lot of people are giving it attention, whether or not it necessarily deserves it, but the beats are hard.
Right.
So people are moving to them.
And like we said earlier,
and they don't care what they're saying.
They get that little serotonin boost from the beat. That's
exactly.
all they need.
Just from the bass, those bass lines, and that snare snapping. You know what I'm saying? That's what gets people moving.
You ain't gotta say much. They gonna love it.
Exactly.
I ain't fucking with these hoes much. Can't trust them. The banger, last pinpoint.
And that's what I'm saying. Nobody's listening to what they're saying. They're listening to how it sounds. That's why, and another thing that is prevalent now is this repeated melody, where you literally have the same melody the entire song.
Yeah. That's Sanford and Son?
I don't know who it is. It's just a melody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you repeat it enough times, it'll get stuck in your head, or you might feel something. But that's what it is. It's easy little
boost
tricks that people are playing to get you to
for sure
buy their shit. I mean, nobody's buying anything anymore. I mean, everyone's streaming things. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's another part of the music industry where things have shifted. They don't care about whether you're going to download the album and hold on to it. You know what I'm saying?
It's
just supposed to be played.
Yeah.
It's just
supposed to pop up in a playlist.
Right.
Yeah. Most people don't.
Are people going to skip this, or are they just going to let it ride? And so
to even get to that point is hard too. To even make it into that playlist.
Right, because you got to have that budget.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
So yeah, it's the different. I think what. So what I'm saying is, to me, the difference of this mumble rap and this the real hip hop that I like is longevity.
Where's it going to be out in 5 years, 10 years?
Right. Is it genuine? Is it original? You know, like, even if it's derivative in some way, maybe a lyric here or there or whatever, do they deliver it in a different way that makes you feel different about it? Or revive a feeling you had about it? So, what's gonna last is the real music and the stuff that has a message and something that makes you feel something deeper and on your higher mind. The stuff that's not gonna last is the stuff that we can't even I can't even differentiate when I hear certain songs. What's what, who's who. It all sounds the same.
Doesn't matter who's putting it out, they're just putting out that sound.
Right. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a fad. It's gonna go to the wayside. And that's what I was saying, hip hop's at a place right now where rock was in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, where everything was oversaturated. It was diluted because you had so many people in it at the same time that only the bullshit was prevailing because they were paying more. So it's the same way. People got tired of it, and they've shifted their interest now to hip hop, and hip hop has become pop culture.
Very real.
Alternative. Yeah, exactly. And so I think hip hop is at a really great place right now because people
it's so accessible.
Right, and people can. There's so much diversity in hip hop right now, more than there ever was.
Right.
And I think that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's two sides of the same coin. There's so many options, but yet there's so many options.
Right. But that's where mumble rap has played its part. Mm-hmm. It's kind of opened that door even more to where it's like, okay, well, now to be in hip hop, you don't have to be a lyricist. Mm-hmm. You can be whatever you want to be, basically. So
which is beautiful in a
way. But I just ask artists that they remain,
real to themselves,
and just have some integrity and remain true to the art itself. So,
damn. Yeah. Can I hit you with one more?
Please do. Hit me with your best shot.
And now it's going to be very underwhelming. But
damn.
How are you going to name yourself after a machine gun when you have a damn man bun? What do you know about man buns?
About man buns.
How do they make you feel? Can you defend them?
I don't really care.
Thank you.
Like, if you want to do that, that's your choice, man. Go for it. Whatever. Kind of like with face tats, That's what you want to do. Whatever. Go for it. But just know that, with those decisions, might come some.
Are you doing it because
reaction.
It's cool in the moment, or it's something you're gonna be like?
Oh, I think it's definitely a moment thing. Like that fad's gonna pass. I think it's already reaching its end.
Yeah.
But like
it's lasted longer than I really thought it would.
I'm not gonna lie. I've got long hair, so I'll throw up a top knot every now and then.
I've been there. I've had one.
I only have as much to make a little knot, so it's like whatever. But like those fake man buns that you can buy that are like clip-on buns, fuck that, dude.
That's
Why?
too much.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
I'm all about it for like it being useful. Like, oh, my hair's getting in my eyes, or it's resting on my neck, and I hate it.
Yeah, you're not doing it just to have the look like I want a man bun. No, the real people just have it. They're just like I just need to put my hair up.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Be true to yourself.
Be true to yourself, and I think that's what people can take away from this one.
I was just about to say that. That's the moral of this episode.
Be
true to yourself.
So, it's coming to an end at Uncle Mike's house, and any last words?
It's time to put the kids to bed.
Put the kids to bed. Close the door behind you. Don't let it hit you in the ass. This has been Uncle Mike's house. This has been Access Mundi of Lyre.
Yes, sir.
And I'll send you a little like Evite next time you can come over and we'll talk and hang out. I don't know. What do you want to do?
Dude, I am down to come hang out anytime.
Dude, it's been a vibe for sure. It's been a fucking vibe.
And it's been a minute, dude, so
for sure.
I'm glad.
I'm
glad you asked me.
Next time maybe I'll have a little music to show. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
Like I said, we're working on some shit, but it's like super low key right now, so I don't want anybody to get any sneak peeks.
Sneak peeks. Before anyone else does.
You're right, because like I said, it's holding yourself to a different standard at this point. When we release it, it's going to be with a purpose and an intention. So, if you do want to hear some of our shit, come out to our live shows.
Ooh, when's the next one?
Next one's November 10th. I don't know when you're planning on releasing this podcast.
Probably tomorrow.
But, okay. Right on. Shit. No, okay, so yeah, the next one's November 10th. That's going to be the next round of Battle of the Bands, which I'm stoked for because I really do feel like we have a great shot at winning this. So
that's awesome.
We have an even better shot with people coming out and showing their
support. And
then we have another show coming up November 30th, which is going to be a really fucking awesome show too. We're going to be performing. Well, let me tell you about the event first. The event is being held by Lafayette Beer League. Sorry. They are putting together this event where they're going to have like 15 different breweries from Indiana on tap that night. Same location. It's at Bobby T's campus. The old 308 on State.
If you remember.
So if you put in 308 State Street, West Lafayette, that's the spot.
It's going to be a Target over there soon. It's going to be lit. Target's about to change the game.
Yeah. But fuck Target, we're talking about this.
Oh yeah, sorry. They don't got no events going on. Yeah. They ain't supporting local artists.
I mean, not like fuck Target, but like Target, whatever.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
If there's something to take away from this, it's whatever. That's the message we're sending at Uncle Mike's house. Don't be a bougie bitch.
That's right. Humble your feel.
So,
November 30th. Sorry.
No,
November 30th, Lafayette Beer League is going to have like 15 different breweries up at Bobby T's campus.
On deck.
Yes, on tap. So come out, try some of Indiana's finest brews.
So it's not just music.
So
it's a little booze.
Exactly. But that's perfect for us because booze and bands definitely mix. And
Every time. Every time.
Right on. So we'll be upstairs. We're going to be performing another band, another local band, Abercorn. They're pretty freaking sweet. You should come check them out. They're going to be performing that night. And also another band called Three Cities. And they're obviously from 3 different cities. We got a guy from Lafayette and Fort Wayne, and I think Monticello. But I could be wrong about that last one. But
that's not the point. The point is you need to check them out and go there.
Yeah,
on
definitely.
The 30th of November.
Yep. November 10th. Battle of the Bands. November 30th.
It's gonna be hot.
Lafayette Beer League.
It's gonna be hot. Bunch of hot dudes and beers. What am I saying?
Bunch of hot dudes and beers. It's okay.
It's everything you've ever dreamed of.
It's alright. Just be honest.
That's what we think about it here at Uncle Mike's house. Hot dudes and beers. Hot dudes.
Right. So if you're looking for hot dudes and cold beers,
let me tell you where to go. One more time for them. Bobby T's. November 30th. It's lit. I can't do it. You did it perfect.
I can't do it.
Was that on the
either,
pod? Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Damn, we fucking missed out.
It's okay.
Anyways, it's been fun. We're gonna do it again. For fucking sure.
You bet.
For fucking sure.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna do it again at Uncle Mike's house. Biddy bye bye. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.
You gotta find the stop button.